Today we're going to look at MTG card abilities that are basically useless. So fair game is any card that has some useless text on it, or any ability that basically does nothing or is incredibly niche. Incredibly inspired by the card Teleria, the legendary land that taps for blue mana. But that's the best part of this card because it all goes downhill from there. It also can tap during upkeep, so not at any time, to remove the banding or bans with other ability from target creature until end of turn. Good luck that coming up ever for the rest of your life in any game that you play. Alright, so what are we going to start with? Let's go with Steve Cooper with Acolyte of Zathrid. It's got some sort of 0/1 ping for 1, such power. Okay, we got 1 mana 0/1. We got... Hey, it's not completely useless. It's certainly not... It's very underwhelming, I'll admit that. 2 mana. Don't we have cards that you just like tap and players lose one? I mean, yeah, basically you're paying mana to ping. We've seen better out there. It's almost like the reverse, I don't know, Prodigal Sorcerer. Prodigal Sorcerer, you get 3 mana, you can ping for forever here. It's still 3 mana, but like you're paying that tax for basically for eternity. Okay, next up, let's look at Hunter Sliver of Provoke. What is Provoke? All slivers have Provoke. When a sliver attacks, its controller may have target creature defending player controls untap and block if able. That is the complete opposite of what I want to do. This is a fantastic example of a useless ability. It's almost like a weird fight card. But really, if I'm attacking you, I want to deal the damage. I want to smack you in the face, and this is preventing me from doing that. Yes, let's give the opponent the option to block, and maybe even give protection to their creature, or pump the thing up, or whatever. Or even give my creatures damage, and I'll finish it off with like a lightning bolt. Or something, rather. Once they get the scent, there is no escape. Alright, next, we got our first super chat from Rated Lex. Snowfall, it does is pay for its own upkeep. Is that what it does? Cumulative upkeep. Islands may produce an additional blue. When tapped for mana, this mana is usable only for cumulative upkeep. Well, what do you know? I got cumulative upkeep, and this card helps pay for the damn thing. Snow-covered islands may produce either an additional blue or an additional blue when tapped for mana. This mana is usable only for cumulative upkeep. This is completely useless. What was the whole point of this card? You are right, this card exists only to pay for itself. Islands may produce, so it's like High Tide. This really just backfires on you. Why don't you just play High Tide? This is a High Tide that only you can't benefit from, because you have to use the extra mana to keep paying for the damn thing. Excellent, excellent example. Ha ha ha! You thought you had me, but I play the Snowfall, and now let's see how the tables have turned. Your opponents just look at you like, what's... Okay, you got Snowfall, nice. Alright, and then they combo off. Henrik with Trap Finder's Trick. Trap Finder's Trick. Behold! Trap Finder's Trick, blue 1 generic sorcery. Target player reveals their hand and discards all of their trap cards. You'll never summon your trap card because they're all guard. Oh, wait a minute. Nobody plays with trap cards. You don't have any trap cards? Where's everyone's trap cards? What, do they all suck? Anyone playing mill around here? And like in Commander, like what is the best you can get? Like 1 trap card out of their hand? It's the trapped all trap counters, but the trap cards, but the trap is playing this card in the first place. Not even a trap itself, that's right. It should also counter trap cards. Look at their hand and discard everything. Man, it's in the 2-cent range. I think it should be worth 1 penny. Get it? 1 penny sounds like the right price for this card. Yeah, you fool! The Trap Finder's Trick. Yeah, Trap Finder's Trick equals... We are playing MTG, not Yu-Gi-Oh! Get rid of these trap cards. Alright, next up, Source Path does something. It blows up your own board. We need useless cards. Something that, like, does nothing. What do we got? Let's go with Bulky. Ailing Leprechaun. Or Ailing Leprechaun? Such card exists? Okay, let's just look up. Ooh, I spelled lep wrong. The leprechaun. Okay, hold on. Let's just spell it leprechaun. There we go. Why didn't it look it up? I don't get it. We have a green 1/1. It's a fairy. I didn't know leprechauns were fairies. Must be. It's in the same magical family. So, honestly, I don't even know what the creature type for leprechaun would be. Make it an elf or something. All creatures that block. Okay, I'm not even. Read the oracle text here. When ailing leprechaun blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, that creature becomes green. You little wear off a little St. Patrick's Day on you, shall you? And once you are green, you will notice that you are vulnerable to circle of protection green. And before you know it, you won't be dealing any damage at all. I actually cannot think of any other. What is a disadvantage? Okay, hold on. Tidebinder Mage. You will be tapped down with Tide, which taps down green creatures. It's the only thing I can think of. There's very, very few cases where being green is a bad thing. All of a sudden, green! Love it. Okay, we got. Okay, let's look at piracy. What does piracy do again? The piracy, blue sorcery. This turn, you may tap lands you don't control to help pay for your spells. That's not that bad. Although, hold on. In response, can't someone just tap all the lands? You may tap lands you don't control. Yeah, this will never work out. I mean, it's some weird way of making your opponents tap out, I guess, on your turn. But it's sorcery speed. It'd be better off, like, you could do this at instant speed. I cast Piracy, which gives me the ability to tap all of your lands to pay for my spells. Well, guess what? In response, I can tap all my lands before that card resolves, giving you no chance to tap my lands for mana. And it's all over. Very useless. Mana burn. Oh yeah, that's right. Mana burn back in the day. They get rid of mana burns all of a sudden. And then you'll take a mana burn. Well, I'm sorry, but the year is 2023, and mana burn hasn't existed for over a decade. I can just tap my lands for nothing for no damage. Excellent, beautiful. All right, yeah, there was mana burn at the time, once upon a time. Pirate Precon doesn't include piracy. That is true. Flavor. Not that it would be very useful in the deck. All right, we got a super chat. We got Robert. What do you got for us, Robert? Boa Constrictor. The Boa Constrictor, 5 mana, 3/3, but it can it can tap to give it +3/+3. My creature can give it +3/+3, but you didn't read the fine print, because in order to attack, you must tap your card. However, if you are tapping it to give it +3/+3, then you have no chance to attack. You essentially paid 5 mana only for a 3/3 creature. This is false marketing right here. Nikachu is clear. I have been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I have. Yu-Gi-Oh! Culture is actually far better than Magic the Gathering culture. Come on, Wizards, we need the Magic the Gathering anime. You're falling behind on the culture here. Okay, Francis with Armored Sliver. Armor Sliver, 3 mana, 2/2 creature. All slivers you have, pay 2. This creature gets all slivers have, you can pay 2. This sliver gets +0/+1 until end of turn. But all the other slivers don't need it, because only this card needed it in the first place. It's actually yeah, this one is super useless. Why do all the slivers need this ability? Because only one sliver needs this ability. Only the armor sliver. Effectively could just say all sliver. This creature says all slivers have this ability. Because when it dies, everyone else will lose the ability. It's not like it's permanent. It's for as long as armor slivers on the battlefield. Okay, we got Rowan with Samet. Tyrant Smasher. Creatures control have haste. Also, this one. It's a 4 mana planeswalker, 5 loyalty. So creatures you control have haste, but the ability the ability is target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. It's double haste. But you have to remember that you don't get any faster than haste. Haste is as fast as it gets. You can't go back in time and attack twice. Connor says Netflix actually makes the Magic anime and it's just an overdramatic card game anime. I wouldn't even be upset. Yeah, we'll take anything at this point. Vaginal Sphere Oasis. If it's gonna load. Oasis. It's a land. Tap. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. This actually is more useful than you would think. Actually, I think it's very underwhelming, but it literally does something. The only problem is that it's put onto a land. That is your land drop for a turn. It could have added mana, but instead you chose the defensive route. The pacifist. The pacifist journey to prevent damage instead of dealing it. Not a wise move. Alright, we'll go with Liquid Sulfide's Dark Steel Relic. Behold! I cannot destroy you, but the point is you cannot destroy me. I am a 0-mana Dark Steel Relic that is indestructible. And if you animate me, I better not be based on power and my power and toughness better not be based on like my casting cost, because then it will still die. The only thing that can destroy a Dark Steel Relic is actually animating it with like Karn or something. That would be its undoing. You fool, you thought that you could turn this into a creature, but the fact that it was 0 mana would be its demise. It dies instantly. Okay, Rainers, Takeno's Cavalry. Takeno's Cavalry. Whoops, no. Takeno's Cavalry. Am I doing this right? Takeno's. Okay, that's my fault there. Oh! Takeno. What is this? Cavalry. Okay, I found it. It took a while. 4 mana for a 1/1 human samurai archer with Bushido 1. When this blocks or becomes blocked, gets +1/+1 until end of turn. However, you have to tap Takeno's Cavalry. Deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking spirit. Deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking spirit. But why does it have Bushido 1 then? This card's supposed to go in the red zone. It's not supposed to be using this stupid ability. Now, if it had Vigilance, that'd be a whole different story, but it doesn't even have Vigilance. It's at an odds end. Whenever blocks. Oh, blocking is not so bad. So you can block and then activate this thing. So buff it up and then do some pinging. But not good synergy with the attacking, that's for sure. We got Zarfna. Thank you so much for thank you so much for the super chat. Where's your super chat? Sound effect. We got Break Open. Break Open, a red 1 generic instant. Turn target face down creature and opponent controls face up. Isn't that true? Because like, would it not only benefit them? You're literally like, if anyone manifests anything on the battlefield, it's a 2/2 creature. I mean, I guess you could gamble that it's an instant or sorcery. What happens if it's an instant or sorcery? So like, this is meant to only like the card existed at a time that you could use it on morph creatures. But then what if you turn an instant or sorcery face up? Like, is it on the battlefield? Every so often, like, the AI wants to put instants and sorceries on the battlefield or attack with them. Is that, like, that's the only way we can get, like, instants and sorceries physically in play? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. There are 2 ways to resolve puzzling situations. Thoughtful contemplation or force. After thoughtful contemplation, most barbarians choose force. Don't they? I don't seem to have an answer to this thing, but we'll find one eventually. Hiru, a Steam Flogger boss. The Steam Flogger. It is a rigor creature, and it gives them +1/+0, all other rigor creatures, +1/+0, and haste. However, there's only one problem. At the time, this is the only rigor in the game, which makes it completely useless. It cannot even buff itself up. You have to make clones of the damn thing. They did print a few more, in I don't know, in the unsets, but those aren't even legal. If our rigger you control would assemble a contraption, it assembles 2 contraptions instead. The most useless Lord ability of all time. We got a super chat from Brandon Campbell. Hope life is well. It is great. Here is some coffee. Thank you so much, Brandon Campbell. And for that generous super chat, we are going to donate it to... Rainer has something to say. If a manifested permanent that's represented by an instant or sorcery card would turn face up, its controller reveals it and leaves it face down. Interesting. You thought you could make me turn up my permanent into an instant and sorcery, but put it into the game. But according to Rule 701.34, it turns back into my creature. Your break open has not broken open anything. All right, okay, we're gonna donate the super chat, however, to a bunch of people here. Moonlace from Ree. It is a blue instant. Target spell or permanent becomes colorless. There is some niche use to this, but for the most part, like, why the hell would we ever play this? I guess you could do it in response to maybe, like, is it Pyroblast or, like, Red Elemental Blast? One of them is going to check for the permanent's color upon resolution. Like, you know, destroy target permanent if it's blue. So you could change from blue to colorless, and then all of a sudden that Pyroblast does nothing. I'm not playing this card specifically for that super niche situation, though. Imagine opening this in a booster. You better believe that's... And it's a rare! I remember they said, like, sometimes they make things rare just because it's, like, weird. So they don't want make... I mean, it's the power level of a damn common. Let's just not get that thing out. Let's not make any mistakes around here. However... because it's so stupidly weird, they don't want it to show up that often. That would be a lot of draft chaff, so they make some weird cards rare, as a result of, the weirdness. It can undo the leprechaun! You thought you turned my creature green to get tapped down by the Tidebinder, but then all of a sudden I cast Moonlace! It's no longer a green creature, it's not even a color creature at all, it is colorless. Foiled once again, leprechaun. Okay, we got, let's get one from Only Stamina, Soldier of Fortune. Oh, this is for the cheaters. It's a red 1/1, pay a red, tap. Target player shuffles his or her library. Why would you want to shuffle your library so much? Well, you see, I was stacking all my best spells to the top. Also, every single time I make you shuffle your deck, you have to present it to me, and I'm just going to shuffle lands to the top. Outside of that, if you're playing fairly, this card is stone cold useless. Shuffle away. Okay, there is some use to this thing. I mean, there's so many free shuffle effects, you don't need it on a damn creature. It's a human mercenary. This is a cheater's player's dream. Why does this guy keep playing Soldier of Fortune in his deck? What? Imagine someone that was winning tournaments over and over again because the only weird thing about their deck is they had Soldier of Fortune in it. Yeah, allows you to put Tropical Island and Goyf on the top. Before you know it, you'll be tacked down by a giant 6/7 Goyf. Okay, we got our next super chat coming from Francis C. with security detail. Security detail, white 3 generic enchantment. White, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token into play. Play this ability only if you control no creatures and only once each turn. Hold on, can you activate it more than once? No, I guess not. You like activate it and it'll just absolutely stop you. So I mean, if I'm paying 6 mana for a 1/1 and only if I have absolutely nothing on the battlefield, that's so underwhelmingly pointless. And if I have a single 1/1 creature, I can't activate this ability anymore because I already have my 1/1. Card says you already have help. Go on. Other people need more help than you. Marvin with Apocalypse Chime. Apocalypse. I feel there's something really bad about this card. The word Apocalypse Chime has chimes in history of Coffee and MTG. We all know about Apocalypse Chime. It is a 2-mana artifact that pays 2. Tap, sacrifice Apocalypse Chime to bury all cards from the Homelands expansion. It sounds powerful, but behold, there are no useful cards in the Homelands expansion. The only one is Merchant Scroll. But that card isn't a permanent, it's a sorcery. Foiled again by a card that looks good but actually isn't. Next up we got, actually we have a super chat. We got Zarfna again with, might be a bit obvious, but Wood Elemental. This card is hard to say it's useless. It's just, there's a difference between useless and bad, and this card is just bad. There's a battlefield sacrifice any number of untapped forests. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests sacrificed this way. You could sack all your forests, and then with no lands in play, play balance, and then wipe out all their lands. It's just a really, really, really bad card. I would actually put it in the territory of useless, though. Okay, we got Tommy Siddons with Dark Steel Golem. Oh, sorry, Dark Steel Garrison. Garrison! There's also a Gargoyle. Future Sight made a lot of mechanics that they didn't really finish. Fortified land is indestructible, but it's an artifact for 2 mana. Whenever fortified land becomes tapped, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And for 3 mana, I can fortify this. Attached to target land you control. Fortify only as a sorcery. This card comes into play unattached and stays in play if the land leaves play. So this is like an what does it do? The land, okay, so it's an equipment for land, making our land indestructible, and where the land becomes tapped, the target creature gets +1/+. That is a lot of work for a very, very little buff. That is very underwhelming. 5 mana to do this? Was this the first equipment? Was this before equipment? No, there was equipment. There was GTA a long time ago. I wish they brought back Fortify. It's generally a cool mechanic. Yeah, this mechanic wasn't bad. They just made bad versions of this mechanic. They were too scared to push this thing, just like they push the vehicles. They don't want flashbacks of Smuggler's Copter. Land destruction. Yes, that's right. You tried to destroy my land with Armageddon. Well, guess what? Darksteel Garrison says my land is indestructible. You have no lands, and I have 1. It's like I've stolen the play. Okay, Roundwave Crusher with Tripwire. For a green 2 generic, it's a sorcery. Destroy target creature with horsemanship. Now, there may not be a whole lot of creatures with horsemanship, but if you take a look at your card, you'll find that it is a changeling. And as a changeling, it is all creature types, which include horsemanship. And therefore, your creature is dead. However, you're going to only play this card in some metagame. You would blow your friend's mind if you put this in their deck specifically to hate on their... What is it? Is Morophon have Changeling? Morophon. Yeah, it does have Changeling. Imagine you have a buddy in your play group. Just destroy their soul with the Tripwire. Horsemanship isn't a... Is it not? Oh, is it like... sorry. Is it like Island Walk? Okay, then I screwed up. No, my horsemanship. Oh, is it... So is it... Oh, I think it's like Island Walk or Mountain Walk or anything like that. Is it... Oh, okay, I screwed up. In that case... What does this hit? Like 2 creatures? I think there's like 2 creatures in the game. Okay, yeah, I screwed up. I was confusing horsemanship with, I don't know, I guess being a horseman. You fool! You don't even know what horsemanship is! It wasn't a part of changelings. It was an ability, like flanking, that your card does nothing. And then I go. Yeah, it got even more useless the more we analyzed it. Okay, Jareth with Alabaster Leech. Thanks so much for your super chat. Alabaster, the white 1/3 creature. But it can come out very early, but it's going to make everything come out very late. White spells you play cost 1 white more to play. Hopefully, this is the only white spell that is in your entire deck, which is not a very good splash. Alright, we got, Henrik. No, Henrik, I got a lot of cards from you. What did I not get? Who didn't get a card yet today? We got Cackling Goblin. Unless I play my commander that gives all my creatures horsemanship. That's crue. You give them all horsemanship, and then all of a sudden it will die, the damn thing. Emerald Crowley with City in a Bottle. Yes, splashing for that sweet 1/3 drop. City in a Bottle is a 2-mana artifact. Whenever a non-token permanent originally printed in the Arabian Nights expansion, other than City in a Bottle, is on the battlefield, its controller sacrifices it. Players can't play cards originally printed in the Arabian Nights expansion. Is this Commander legal? This is Commander legal. This actually, I'm going to disqualify this card. This actually has some niche use, because there are actually some good... Okay, do you know what? Forget it. It counts. I said it can have really niche use. And, I mean, it does have niche use, but there's actually quite a few cards from Arabian Nights. There's some busted ones out there. What do we got? Like, Bazaar of Baghdad. We have... there's a worship red creature. It's like a 0/1. Was it Ali from Cairo or something? There's some good stuff in there. There's some good stuff. And then if they unbanned Library of Alexandria, it would be getting even better. City in a Bottle has all upside from here. Maybe they even reprint Arabian Nights into Modern. Who knows? Anything can happen. They'll just ignore the reserve list cards. Next. Yeah, Hoses Aladdin's Lamp. You thought you had an Aladdin's Lamp. Well, you can't even play, because I have City in a Bottle here. Okay, let's give one to Christopher B, who always suggests 50 cards per day. Sink into Takenuma. Sink into Takenuma is a black 3 generic sorcery that's arcane with sweep. Return any number of swamps you control to their owner's hand. Target player discards a card for each swamp returned this way. What? Return any number of swamps I control to my hand. Also, I could give them back to my opponents. Then target player discards a card for each swamp returned this way. I think this is back-breaking for me. So what, I return all my swamps, and I have no lands in play. Okay, I discarded your hand. But fool, you have no lands in play. At least I can play with the heart of the cards. I can play anything that comes off the top of my deck, but you cannot. You will sink into your own Takenuma. And then we move on to King Ginger. King Ginger's super chat is the Street Sweeper. Is it Sweeper with an A or 2 E's? You misspelled Sweeper, but I didn't fall for it this time, as I fall for many of your misspellings. Okay, we have a 6-mana 4/6 construct. Whenever Street Sweeper attacks, destroy all auras attached to target land. How many? Oh no! This is finally the counter to my Spreading Seas. This is like directly trying to hate on Spreading Seas. You thought you had Island Walk. Well, guess what? The Street Sweeper will sweep away the entire flood of your seas. And I'm a 4/6 creature to block your merfolk. Alright, next we've got, let's take from Arcanus Ultra with the Brutal Suppression. Brutal it is. It is a red enchantment. Activated ability is on rebel cards, cost an additional sacrifice a land to play. Activated abilities on rebel cards cost an additional... Okay, so when I activate my rebel card, unfortunately, I may have to tutor out a creature at the cost of a land, which isn't even a big deal because I at least have the land to play it. But who even plays rebels these days? It is just a crappy birthing pod effect when you could just be playing birthing pod in the first place. Nobody plays rebel cards anymore. Oh, sorry, do you know what? Now this works on changelings. All your changeling abilities are going to require sacking your lands, which is going to suck because you are a 5-color deck which you don't want to do. But if you want to play a 5-color deck amongst changelings and other things, you will want to buy them from FusionGamingOnline.com. The set finally has been released, The Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Pre-order your Tashana's Tidebinders, your Cavern of Souls, I'm mentioning your dinosaurs. Get your dinosaurs, pirates, vampires. What a weird creature mix. I still don't understand the vampire thing. The merfolk and the dinosaurs, I get. The pirates going to the island, I get. Vampires are just there for no damn reason. And don't forget that you can support the channel and give yourself a discount with the magical, powerful discount code Nikachu to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. It's almost like cheating, playing any card that's possible within Magic the Gathering on Magic Online when you are renting the cards. From Mana Traders, you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_3KF. Alright, back to useless, downright useless crap Magic cards. The Brutal Suppression. I love my ad time. And you also love the ad time. I use the good music during the ad time. Alpha Nerd! Okay, what do we got here, Alpha Nerd? Cybernetica Datasmith. Cybernetica. It is a black, blue, 1 generic, 0/1, protection from robots, which is probably only going to give you protection from your own deck, which you're playing, not anyone else. Field reprogramming, a blue tap. A target player draws a card. Another target player creates a 4/4 colorless robot artifact creature token with this creature can't block. So you're getting protection from the gigantic creatures you're giving your opponents, and outside of that, it does absolutely nothing. It's a 0. What is the point of this card? Target player draws a card, so maybe, and another target player creates a 4/4. It's basically like a, was it a group hug card? Depends on the player. This is true. If you give your opponents a token copy of Maskwood Nexus, then you could play that Rebel enchantment, then all of their abilities will cost a Lenta. Interesting. You're really thinking outside the box over here. Satan's Catfish with the Cephalid Snitch. Ooh, who would be a snitch around here? Snitchin'. Snitches get stitches. We have a blue 1 generic, a 1/1 Cephalid Wizard. Sacrifice it. Target creature loses protection from black until end of turn. Unfortunately, that does not even synergize with any of the cards we looked at today. A Leprechaun can turn things green. That blue instant turns things colorless. If only... What makes things black? Target creature loses... Oh, sorry, it loses protection from black. That is even more niche, and it's not even on the right color. Like, this is a card. Oh no, you can't give that. You can't give it to. You can't make the card black because if it has protection from black, then it won't lose it. What the hell is going on here? The cautious are wary of their enemies. The wise are also wary of their friends. You thought that you could defeat my mono black deck. Little did you know that I have a singular island for the Cephalid Snitch. And then all of a sudden your protection from black creatures are removed. And I will destroy it. Ha ha ha. Okay, we got Platonic Liquid with Hex. Kellen's Companion, another very real card. Oh yeah, yeah, very, very real. As in, like, you know, alchemy real. Okay, we have a green 1 generic 1/1 dog with haste. Whenever you cast an adventure spell, if Hex, Kellen's Companion is on the battlefield or in exile, if it's in exile, it perpetually gets +1/+1. Then if it's on the battlefield, exile it with a fetch counter on it. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, if Hex is in exile with a fetch counter on it, put it onto the battlefield. What? Then whenever you cast a spell from so... if it's in exile, it keeps getting buffed up, but I have to play something from exile to get it back into play. So like I'm throwing like a bone or something. It's like, yeah, it's a doge. It's a doge. Okay, Alley with Cradle of the Accursed. Is a land with an expensive, useless ability. But you get a 2/2 token. I know you want to squeeze in them zombie cards, but this is actually a little too useful for the show, to be honest. It adds mana, it creates a creature. What more do you want? Rainer says, I hate alchemy cards. People love alchemy cards, people hate there's only 2 types of people. You love or hate them alchemy cards. Conspiracy Cracker with Valakut Invoker. We got the red 2 generic 2/3. Isn't it the super unlucky guy? Pay 8 mana to deal 3 damage to any target. This is also actually a little bit too useful for this show. It's really bad. Like, hey, I'm not pumping this. It's a D tier ability. How often? Battle for Zendikar? This feels very Rise of the Eldrazi like. There were like there was these abilities in Rise. There was like a cycle of creatures. You paid 8 mana for an ability in Rise of the Eldrazi. I don't know what it's about 8 mana to pay for damn abilities, but like it's not very good. Let's look at Arthas the Smoke Teller. You gotta look through the smoke. We have a green 1 generic 2/2, and it has the magical power to look at target face down creature. You thought this was Yu-Gi-Oh! With my face down cards. Well, guess what? I have the ability to look at those face down cards and know what I'm up against and see if you're even cheating. Imagine you target somebody's face down creature that's a 2/2, and in response your opponent like concedes and then immediately shuffles them back into their deck. You thought you could cheat me, but really I can tell right through your tricks. I know you're playing instants and sorceries as morph creatures, because I can tell with the Smoke Teller. Alright, It Danger. It's pretty far from It Danger. Did we get anything from... Who did I get yet today? Don't think I got anything from David Sampson. Security Detail. Bad or useless? Oh, we did that one. It is both. Okay, we got Fulgrim with the Keeper Cycle. Oh, I don't know. You gotta give me a card. You know, I don't know every card out there. You gotta give me at least, you gotta name something. You gotta name at least one. Okay, yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic. Imagine you could, someone should make a video, some Magic / Yu-Gi-Oh! Player should make a video where they like mix Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards at once. They like basically play both games simultaneously. Although the creatures would be really bad because like, you know, the life totals in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are like in the thousands. Round Wave Crusher with the Shelkin Brownie. It is a green 1 generic fairy. With tap, remove the bans with other abilities from target creature until end of turn. Little did they know that no one makes any bans with creatures anymore. They are far buried in the past. Man, imagine they brought that back, like they brought back Regenerate. That would be absolutely devastating. You're trying to snipe yourself? Don't try to snipe. Don't do it. Okay, we got Squimshy. Sorry, I gotta get back to them super chats. Squimshy, new to Magic. Why would you use Undersea Invader? You got exposed to some useless cards very early, have you, Squimshy? The Undersea Invader for 6 mana is a 5/6 flash creature that enters the battlefield tapped. This actually is insane compared to everything that we've seen on today's show. You play it just because you could play it at flash, especially for blue. You could have anything. You could have counter spells. You could have a bounce spell. And then if your opponent plays nothing, you end of turn just put it into play. Okay, do you know what? I'll actually give it this. The tapped thing, it makes it a bad blocker. I will give you this. It makes it a bad blocker, but blue usually is just playing, if they're playing with flash creatures, they're doing it just to play it at end of turn. And like the tapped thing actually doesn't matter. So I take it back a little bit. Of course, there is some cost to being tapped, but outside of that, usually doesn't matter for those creatures. Okay, Chen Fred, did you get one Master of Arms? You're trying really hard here. We have a white 2 generic, 2/2 with first strike. Pay a white 1 generic. Tap target creature blocking Master of Arms. But you already blocked me. What sorcery is this? You tried to tap my creature, but fool, I have already blocked you. Which means that tapping me is stone cold useless. Tapping me is only useful before I block. There has been a card market video where Magic was played against you. Against? Okay, Magic won because of a turn 1 chalice for 0. which counters everything, as Yu-Gi-Oh has no mana cost. Thus, the mana value is 0. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh has never faced the wrath of Chalice of the Void. Screws over decks in Magic the Gathering too. Alright, next super chat we got from the Alpha Nerd. The Adventurers Guildhouse. Adventurers Guildhouse. Adventure Guildhouse is a land. All your green legends gains bands with other legends at the cost of playing your own land. It gains band with other legends, so your creature needs to be green. You need other legendaries on the battlefield, and you also need this damn thing. Any legendary creature can attack at a band as long as it at least has bands with other legendary creatures. Bands are blocked as a group if at least 2 legendary creatures you control, one of which has bands with legendary creatures, or being blocked by the same creature, you divide that creature's combat damage, not its controller, among any number of creatures it's being blocked by or is blocking. Also, contact your doctor if bands with legends is right for you. Next up, we've got... Yeah, banding, let's go! Mark Zillow with Melting. It's a red 3 generic. All snow-covered lands become non-snow-covered lands of the same type. You tried to play your... Is there anything, even with snow abilities? All of a sudden, I see you have snow-covered lands. Well, all of a sudden... they're just regular lands. Just lost the snow type. I guess that would make it... It might marginally screw over, I don't know, Ice Fang Quaddle, I guess. But that's about it. But there are snow now. Just become non-snow covered lands of the same. Yeah, nothing basically changes. There's a lot of snow now. And it only affects the lands. It even affects the snow-colored creatures. And if the creature's already in play, who cares? I love how it doesn't even make mana. Were you talking about the last card? Oh yeah, this one doesn't even make mana either. What a complete waste. Ryan Seth, thank you so much for your super chat. Soulnet. Trying to catch some souls. Soulnet, the 1-mana artifact. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, you can pay a whole 1 generic mana. If you do, you gain 1 life. If it's any consolation for destroying your creature, you have the ability to pay 1 to also gain a little bit of life back. This is that's probably the least whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play. That's the least that you want at this point. Amazingly useless card. Okay, Striker Sky with Oppression. I thought this was like a pretty okay card. However, works well with a Bag of Holding as a defensive mechanism against its own ability. Okay, Oppression. It's a black 1 generic enchantment. Whenever a player plays a spell, that player discards a card from his or her hand, which includes you! Situationally, this can be a good card, though. Especially if you don't even care about the cards that are in your hand. Also, if you play with Madness. You know, this card actually, the more I think about it, it's actually getting more useful the more I think about it. You thought it was a downside. It's actually it's actually good. It hurts you, but it doesn't even hurt me. Wait, that's actually good. A lot of people are like, holy crap, this card's amazing. Oppression. Okay, Francis C, thank you so much for your super chat. Tie Drifter. It's terrible for an Eldrazi. It's gonna sweep it away. It's a blue 1 generic 0/5 Eldrazi Droid with the Void. So it doesn't even have any color. Other colorless creatures you control get +0/+1. If you thought my Eldrazi were big already, which are already like in general 7/7s, 8/8s, 10/10s, it's got a singular more point of toughness. It didn't do much, but the residents of Seagate gave it a wide berth all the same. This flavor text could have just sat at, it didn't do much, period. Send the flavor text. It is, the last 1 toughness on those Eldrazi, not going to make a big difference. SMD with the North Star. Is a 4-mana artifact. Pay 4 tap. You may cast 1 spell this turn by paying its casting cost with any type of mana. Well, that's a shame because I've already spent 4 mana for that singular ability. For example, green, 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 2 generic becomes 4 mana. However, the card still retains its original color. This ability is played as an interrupt. What the hell? This is a $52 card. Why would anyone play this thing? This card looks terrible. I don't get it. I guess they like the picture. It's on the reserve list. They like the collectability or something. Why would I want to tap out so now I have mana of any color? But this is 2023. It's not like we're lacking dual lands in 2023. Even for cheap, anyone can make a 5-color mana base these days. Alright, did we get something from Epic Oberon? Oppression says, lets you cheat cards into your graveyard? Tech for Dredge players, I guess. Dredge, Madness, Threshold, Flashback. You better believe discarding cards is actually just busted. Amanda! Play at instance. Does it give it flash? For 1 spell this turn, you may spend mana as low or mana of any type to play that spell's mana. No, the ability can be played at flash speed, which is very bizarrely worded. Oh, okay, that. Do you know what that card counts? Do you know what? I missed that part. Actually, thank you so much, Amanda. That ability at the end, stone cold pointless. So you can play the ability at instant speed. It's an artifact. Of course, I can play the ability at instant speed. So that's like trying to sell someone with lightning bolt. Hey, you want to buy this lightning bolt off me? You can play it at instant speed, by the way. You can activate all these abilities at instant speed. What a sell. Alphanerd! Thank you so much, Alphanerd, for your super chat. The Alker's Tomb. Four-mana artifact, pay 2, tap. Target permanent you control becomes the color of your choice until end of turn. Is that... It's not one of the more... At least it can be anything that you want. So if your opponent has protection from one color, you change it to something else. You have protection from red. However, my deck now plays Alkor's Tomb, which means my red creatures can now become blue and attack through your pro-red creatures. You didn't see that one coming. And it's an artifact, which means you cannot interact with it. Okay, David with Despotic Scepter. Despotic... Can also be used on a permanent you've just exchanged with a player, including Gilded Drake. We can pay 1 mana for an artifact. Tap, destroy target permanent you own. It can't be... That is actually... Okay, I will say this is pretty stone cold useless, but it's got that niche ability. Yeah, you can exchange it, or I guess it's so ugly in a way. You're gonna play this to blow up whatever anyone steals from you. You want to steal my thing? Guess what? You may control it. But however, Despotic Scepter says the permanent's owner destroys it. No one smacks my creature around anything like I do. Or no one's allowed, I want to say, no one's allowed to destroy my creature except me. With my own Despotic Scepter. With a single whack of my scepter, my own creature is destroyed. Where does it say until end of turn? Does it say until end of... No, it doesn't say that. Yeah, damn right. I'll kill it before you use it. It's $5 too. Actually, some people actually... What does the Ice Age card look like? So for anyone who hates... Or actually, I guess it goes well with your Gilded Drake deck, yeah. Okay, Evan. Hold on, that ability? That ability is on the Staff of Crap. Oh, interesting. Blowing up your own stuff. Evan! Demonic Attorney. As well as any other card that has anti. You fool! They can't play anti. Magic the Gathering got rid of that gambling years ago. Black, 1 generic sorcerer. If an opponent doesn't concede the game immediately, each player must ante an additional card from the top of his or her deck. Remove this card from your deck before playing if you are not playing for ante. You shouldn't have been playing for... If you play for ante, you might end up like Grandpa, who lost his Blue Eyes White Dragon in a game against someone who net decked the crap out of him. It's ante time, babe. Yeah, there's some people out there that haven't forgot about ante and are still playing with it. Does the AI make any ante cards? I don't remember. Okay, we got Henrik. Henrik gets a lot of free cards. Also, it has some super chats. The merchant ship. Merchant ship is a singular blue mana for a 0/2 creature. If merchant ship attacks and is not blocked, you gain 2 life. So I need to attack. So I'm an attacking creature for no purpose of dealing damage. It is actually only to gain 2 life. And I only get the 2 life if I somehow connect with you. Merchant ship cannot attack unless opponent has an island in play. Merchant ship is destroyed immediately if at any time you have no islands in play. It's a flavor win, but it's completely stone cold terrible. Some other people still play for ante. Oh god, you people. I cannot imagine losing my cards in a game of ante anymore. That'd be just awful. Next up, let's get... I don't know who got what yet. I know you got a card already. I guess I'll give you another one. Blight Keeper. The Blight Keeper for singular black. It is a 1/1 Bat Imp with flying. And 8 mana. Sacrifice the Blight Keeper. Target opponent loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. It's funny you actually invest that much. So if you play this on turn 1, you've dealt basically 7 damage by the time that you want to activate this. No. 6 damage. You attack on turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 damage. What a horrible invest. It's like, what's it called? It's like the golden goose. You're trying to get all the eggs at once, but at the cost of losing your goose. It was dealing so much damage for a long time. Your opponents weren't killing you for some reason. Like, I don't know what happened in this game that you can activate this card, but your opponent's obviously not doing anything. Miss me today, cycle. Okay, let's look at Cycle of Life. Cycle of Life is a green 1 generic enchantment. Returns Cycle of Life to its owner's hand. Target creature you summoned this turn becomes a 0/1. Why? Why are we doing this? At the beginning of your next upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. In exchange, that is so bad. So I have to bounce this back. I gotta return a creature I just played this turn back to my hand. And in exchange, I have a 0/1 garbage. It is a champion of the slow. It's not champion of the parish, it's champion of the slow. Getting a singular 1/1 creature. Getting a singular counter every single turn. Compound, Magic can't wait for compound interest. Yeah, if we can go to 100 turns. No, it's not even compounding. Sorry, it's linear. Get 1 extra +1/+1 counter every turn. You'll be a millionaire in 100 turns. Lowell with a Wheel of Sun and Moon. Oh, you do not know the ability, the power behind the Wheel and Sun Moon. This is an amazing card. It's a white. It's a Selesnya. Enchant player aura. If a card would be put into an enchanted player's graveyard from anywhere, instead that player reveals and put on the bottom of that player's library instead. You see, there are some decks called Dredge that require putting cards on the top of their library into their graveyard, filling it with creatures that will come back to the battlefield. However, if they are enchanted with the Wheel of Sun and Moon, they no longer can put anything into the graveyard and goes directly back into their deck instead. Congratulations, you now have a deck that is as good as Draft Chaff. It's actually anti-mill. Yes, it's anti-mill. You can also enchant yourself for the mill decks. So there are actually some really good use out of this card. It's effectively, it is, it's somewhere between like almost too niche, but because it's graveyard hate, I think it's just good enough. Makes the Roko cry as well. That's right. Okay, next super chat we got from Bryce. Thank you very much, Bryce. How about Delif's Cube? Delif's Cube. A 1-mana artifact, pay 2 tap. If target creature you control attacks and is not blocked, it deals no damage to an opponent. However, instead, put a cube counter on Delif's Cube. What? If a target creature you control attacks and is not blocked, I am going to prevent it from dealing damage? It's like I'm doing the work for the opponent. Okay, I put a counter on. What do we do? Pay 2, remove a cube counter to regenerate target creature? What's the point of regenerating the damn thing when it's not even dealing damage? I'd rather get into the red zone. Holy crap. Imagine filling your decks with cards strictly made to help your opponent. That's all it's doing. And you have to pay mana for the damn thing. Did I get to Mr. Very Smart today? Desert Nomads. The Desert Nomads, it's a red 2 generic 2/2 with Desert Walk. Desert Nomads are immune to damage done by deserts. Which I think, what is there, like literally one card that does that? And that's like is it desert? Is it even a desert? Desert. Let's look at desert, the card. I don't even know if it's officially a desert. Oh, it is desert. I have a feeling they errated it. Yeah, it wasn't a desert before, but it is now. Desert deserves to be desert. The subtype is now desert the card. Okay, so you don't even need protection from deserts. It does 1 damage. You naturally have 2 toughness. You will never lose to a desert. I don't think there's any other deserts that will say, like, that you could... and it's only damage. Like, there's a desert that gives creatures -2/-2. You don't even have protection from that. What kind of desert nomad are you? Pathetic. What a useless ability. 2 useless abilities. I don't know, maybe Desert Walk can sometimes situationally come up, but outside of that. Take that, you sandy fiends. Okay, we got prod something. Protection from... I don't even know what it protects from Ramunap runes, right? Ramunap runes, because I think that's only to players. Deals 2 damage to each opponent, so it doesn't even have protection from that. You know? You can't even target a creature with the thing. That's the thing. What about 2 deserts? Well, how are you going to play 2 deserts in Commander without cheating? I mean, that's possible. You're playing 1-on-1, I guess it has protect. Who the hell has 2 deserts in play? Does desert even add mana? I should play desert. It hits, what's it called? Hits Ragavan. Super powerful card. Vic the Foxy Gamer with Possibility Storm. Aren't there combos with this? So it's literally a combo card. Red 3 generic. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, the player exiles it and exile cards on the top of their library until they exile a card that shares a card type with it. The player may cast the card without paying its mana cost. Then they put all cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of their library in a random order. The problem is, if you have a card in play that says you can only play 1 card per turn, the Possibility Storm actually makes sure that you don't play anything at all. So actually, this card is actually very useful. It's a very good combo card. Very good combo card. We go to a super chat. We go to Gary Taylor. Thank you so much for your super chat. Shahrazad. Do you know what? You're not wrong. This card does nothing but waste everybody's damn time. Because if you could win the sub game, you might as well win the regular game. We have a white sorcery. Everyone just plays another damn game of Magic. And the player who doesn't win the sub game loses half their life rounded up. I guess in theory... No, if you win the game, you might as well have just won the regular game. There's no point to going into a sub game over anything. Okay, Toilet Duck trying to get Manta Ray on here. Manta Ray. With the land home keyword. Alright, land home. Blue 1 generic for a 3/3. That's actually not bad. It's got island home. If defending player controls no islands, this creature cannot attack. Well, that's an absolute pity. And then... if you control no islands, you have to bury this creature. Of course, the Manta Ray needs islands. When Manta Ray cannot be blocked except by blue creatures. That is so bizarre. So it's sort of unblockable. But if the opponent has no islands, I can't attack. It doesn't even have Island Walk. So, oh yeah, this is terrible. This card just, every other creature can attack for more. Or just attack in general. This is like a huge handicap on attacking, but for no damn reason. Oh, I mean, I guess the deal is cannot be blocked except by blue creatures, which is also awkward because the only person that you can attack is one with islands, so they're gonna have the blue creatures. All right, next up, we've got The Great Wall by Some124C. Okay, it is a white 2 generic enchantment. Creatures with Planeswalk may be blocked as if they did not have this ability. Creatures with Planeswalk may be blocked. Okay, so if my opponent is playing Planeswalk creatures and I got Planes, I can use this enchantment to block ya. Oh, all of a sudden. You thought you had Planeswalk, but I have the Great Wall, which means the Planeswalking stops here. Unless it's real Planeswalking. Okay, we gotta get through them super chats. The Big Squig, thank you so much for your super chat. The Bolduvian Shaman. It is a blue human cleric shaman, a 1/1. I am not reading that block of text. Let's look at the oracle text. Tap, change the text of target white enchantment you control that doesn't have cumulative upkeep by replacing all instances of one color word with another. That is insanely specific. That doesn't have cumulative upkeep. This enchantment gains, and it gains cumulative upkeep. Well, if you didn't have cumulative upkeep, now you do. This is to make, like, I don't know, your circle of protection, whatever the hell you want. At the cost that it's not even going to protect you for very long. And the last super chat we've got from Mario. Thank you so much for your super chat, Mario. The Angel Heart Vial. It is a 5-mana. Oh, I have so many of these, like, in, like, my bulk. Please, let this be good one day. 33 cents. All right, we're moving up. And it was reprinted. Oh, god damn it. They reprinted the thing. All right, 5 mana. Whenever you're dealt damage, you may put that many charge counters on the Angel Heart Vial. You can pay 2. Tap, remove 4 charge counters from Angel Heart Vial to gain 2 life and draw. Hey, drawing a card? I'll take that. We get to draw cards off this damn thing. That's not too bad. 2 thumbs up for me. I think I'll disqualify this damn thing. If it was just gain 2 life, I would say that's a pretty bad deal. But the drawing a card, that's a good deal. And with that, that is going to be Coffee and MTG today. Thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. And if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here, Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or a super chatter to be part of the show, thank you very much for your contributions. We got to thank everyone who's here this morning, like Arcanus, Jess, Christopher B. We've got Tom Squires, Satan's Catfish, Paul Rogg, Toads. Who else do we have? Lord Trevor, Christopher B, Rayner, Bryce. We got Matt. And Roundwave Crusher, and many other people. Thank you so much, because without all you guys, there would be no show. You guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you